Have you ever noticed that the more you try not to worry about money, the more financial problems seem to appear? It's strange how that works, isn't it? When people talk about the law of attraction, you'll hear many different explanations, but at the core, they're all pointing to the same idea, one that can be summed up in just a few words. In this video, I'll explain the law of attraction and the role of the subconscious mind in a simple, easy to follow way. Even if these topics are completely new to you, you'll come away with a clear and practical understanding. There's no shortage of content out there, especially on YouTube, about these subjects. I continue to explore them daily, always learning and sharing new insights. But honestly, much of what's out there only scratches the surface. And when you only deal with surface level ideas, it's hard to create real, lasting change. That's why I want to share what I've learned through real experience, clearly and simply. In just this one video, you'll grasp the core principles and begin to understand the deeper forces shaping your reality. If anything I've said resonates with you, if you've ever felt stuck in the same cycle of financial stress, this video is for you. Maybe you've studied the subconscious mind or tried applying what you've learned, yet still feel trapped in the same patterns. Maybe you're drawn to spiritual ideas, but find them too vague to be useful. You're looking for something real, something you can actually apply. Or maybe you just want a solid, no-nonsense introduction to the law of attraction and the subconscious mind. If that sounds like you, I encourage you to watch this video to the end. By the time you're done, you'll understand the key ideas behind the law of attraction and feel confident explaining how the subconscious mind works. Most importantly, you'll know exactly what steps you can take today to start putting these ideas into practice in your everyday life. So if you're ready, let's dive in. What exactly are the law of attraction and the subconscious mind? And where did these ideas originate? Interestingly, both concepts trace back to a cultural movement that began in the United States in the latter half of the 20th century. At that time, American society was experiencing widespread frustration and a desire for change, especially following the Vietnam War. The anti-war movement and growing distrust of authority led many people to embrace ideas like peace, freedom, and alternative ways of living. This atmosphere gave rise to the hippie movement, young people seeking self-expression, nonconformity, and a deeper sense of meaning. This cultural wave, along with the rise of rock music and influential bands like the Beatles, helped create a fertile ground for what became known as the New Age movement. The New Age movement emphasized living in harmony with others and the world around us. It popularized ideas such as the subconscious mind and the law of attraction, beliefs that our thoughts and intentions can shape reality. Around this time, books and concepts like Murphy's Law gained attention, focusing on how the subconscious mind could help turn dreams into reality. Later, The Secret became a global phenomenon, introducing these ideas to an even wider audience. I was first introduced to The Secret in college through its DVD version. It opened the door for me to explore New Age ideas and apply them to my own life. Another major influence was the Law of Attraction, often referred to as the Red Book, written in a Q&A format with Abraham. For many, it became a foundational text. And of course, Napoleon Hill's classic, Think and Grow Rich, helped spread the belief that our thoughts can influence our external circumstances. If we were to summarize these teachings, the subconscious mind, the law of attraction, and Think and Grow Rich, in a single idea, it might be this. To live a better life, you must tap into a certain power. What is that power? It's the force we rely on to realize our dreams and create the life we truly desire. Often referred to as a universal law, it is central to the New Age worldview. This belief that we can align with the laws of the universe to shape our reality appears again and again, whether in The Secret, the teachings of Abraham, Bashar, or references to the universe itself in discussions about the subconscious mind. Let's be honest. When we hear the word universe, it can sound vague or overly spiritual. That's exactly why in this video, I want to explore the laws of the universe in a grounded, practical way, so they're easy to understand and apply. So, what do we actually mean by laws of the universe? To answer that, let's first consider the word law itself. You've probably heard phrases like the law of attraction or universal laws. In this context, a law means a consistent, predictable pattern, something that always happens when specific conditions are met. In other words, if certain things occur, a particular result will consistently follow. This is true for both scientific and so-called universal laws. Take science, for example. Newton's law of gravity began with a simple observation, an apple falling from a tree. He realized that objects are pulled toward one another, and this force is what we now call gravity. Another example is the law of conservation of mass. Matter can change form, solid, liquid, gas, but its total mass remains constant. This is a scientific law. It's based on repeated observation and evidence. Einstein's theory of relativity, introduced about 100 years ago, showed that time moves more slowly for objects traveling at high speeds. This might sound like science fiction, but it has real-world effects. For instance, GPS satellites orbit Earth at high speeds, and because of relativity, their clocks tick slightly differently than ours. Without adjusting for this, GPS wouldn't be nearly as accurate. Scientific laws improve our daily lives and show us something important. A law is a repeatable pattern that holds true under specific conditions. But the laws of the universe go beyond science. They deal with broader, more abstract aspects of life. These are patterns that many people believe govern not just physical reality, but also personal growth, relationships, and purpose. Think about this. The universe began roughly 13.7 billion years ago. Earth formed about 4.6 billion years ago. Modern humans have been around for only about 400,000 years, and what we call modern science has existed for just 400 years. In that context, scientific knowledge is just a tiny fragment in the vast history of the universe. The laws we've discovered so far are like small dots scattered across a massive timeline. In contrast, what we call the laws of the universe point to something more fundamental. These are broad principles that seem to guide life itself, operating on a deeper level of reality. For example, you get back what you give. You've likely heard this idea expressed in different ways: karma, what goes around comes around, or even divine punishment. While not scientifically proven, many people feel there's a deeper truth in these concepts. People who consistently harm others often end up unhappy. Those who act selfishly or unkindly may find themselves isolated over time. It's as if there is an invisible current in life, something you can't measure but can still sense. To me, that's what the laws of the universe really are. Even if science hasn't explained them yet, they seem to work quietly behind the scenes, repeating in subtle but consistent ways. And because of that, part of us thinks, this must be real. These are the kinds of laws I'm referring to. Next, I'll share how you can actually use these universal laws in your own life, starting today. One such law is, like attracts like. You may have heard the saying, birds of a feather flock together. It captures the idea perfectly. People with similar energy naturally gravitate toward one another. Think back to your school days. Anime fans, comic book lovers, or quiet students often formed their own groups. People with similar vibes just found each other, often without even trying. That's like attracts like in action. Again, science may not have officially proven it, but most of us intuitively understand how it works. It feels like another example of a universal law at play. Another idea is that words carry energy. You've likely noticed that when you speak harshly or express negativity, that energy often returns to you. Or perhaps you've seen how your words begin to shape your thoughts and reality. In Japan, there's a traditional belief called kodadama, the idea that words have a spirit or inner power. This belief teaches that words hold more than just sound. They carry meaning and influence. That's why people are taught to choose their words carefully, because words can hurt, and once spoken, they can't be taken back. This wisdom has been passed down for generations. IKEA once conducted an experiment that illustrates this idea well. They took two identical plants. One was exposed daily to negative, insulting words, while the other received kind, encouraging words. Over time, the plant subjected to negativity began to wilt and weaken. In contrast, the one treated with kindness remained strong and healthy. Science hasn't fully explained why this happens, but experiments like this make us think. They suggest that words carry energy. Even if we can't measure it precisely, many of us can sense its impact. This is what I mean when I talk about universal laws. These are deep, meaningful principles that we can apply in our lives, ideas that resonate on an intuitive level. So what are the laws of the universe, really? Let's remember, humans have only been seriously studying science for about 400 years, a blink in the vast timeline of the universe. There's still so much we don't understand. Just because science hasn't explained something yet doesn't mean it isn't real or worth exploring. That's why I refer to these concepts as laws of the universe. Yes, some of this may sound unscientific. Elements come from the New Age movement and may feel spiritual, but I believe that's where their true value lies. Life isn't only about what we can see or measure. It's also about what exists within us, our hearts, our thoughts, our inner world. And I truly believe that this inner world may be the most important part of all. I continue to learn from these ideas every day, and I see it as my purpose to share them in a way that's clear and accessible. My mission is to offer insights that are both meaningful and necessary. To me, the laws of the universe are timeless truths, universal principles that humanity is still uncovering, but which I deeply believe are real. One of the universal laws is the law of attraction. It means you have the power to attract the future you desire through your thoughts and emotions. Your inner world shapes your outer reality. Once you understand how to work with this principle, you'll realize you can create meaningful changes in your life. That's why I'm sharing this, to help more people recognize and use this power. Here's the key point. The law of attraction only works if you believe in it. If you're constantly skeptical, thinking, is this even real? It won't work for you. Being overly fixated on scientific reasoning can also block this potential, because we attract what our subconscious already accepts as true. If you try using this law while holding doubt, you'll simply attract more doubt. So, start by choosing to believe, even just a little. Think, maybe there's something to this, or why not give it a try? Make that quiet decision in your heart. Begin with an open mind. That's all it takes. There's an old saying, those who believe will be saved. And in this case, belief is what activates the power. That's why I've explained everything with such care, so you can begin with clarity and confidence. Science and the laws of the universe exist side by side. While science has yet to explain many things, deep down, many of us feel maybe there really is a force like this. That's why I've been exploring this topic from different perspectives: science, the universe, and what lies beyond. My goal is simple: to help you start believing, even just a little. So why am I putting so much effort into this? Because if you don't believe in it, you can't use it. It all starts with the belief that this law exists. The moment you think, maybe this is real, something inside you begins to shift. When something good happens, you might wonder, wait, did I attract this? As you live with the idea that you might be creating your own reality, your belief naturally grows stronger. And once you start believing, your thoughts begin to align with that belief. That's why taking the first step, choosing to believe, is so powerful. Think about gravity. 400 years ago, we didn't understand it, but it was always there. That's how universal laws work. They don't start existing when we discover them. They've been there all along. The same is true for the law of attraction. Once you understand even the basics, you can start using it. And it all begins with one core idea. Everything in this world is made of energy. In our reality, there is sound, there is light. And through these forms of energy, we experience the world. Take sound, for instance. It's made of frequencies, traveling in waves, measured in hertz and decibels. We perceive these vibrations as sound. The same principle applies to this YouTube video. My vocal cords vibrate, producing sound energy that's picked up by the microphone and transmitted to you. It reaches your ears, vibrates your eardrums, and stirs your thoughts and emotions. That's energy in motion. Light is energy, too. The screen on your phone emits light, which enters your eyes, hits your retinas, and is processed as visual information. This entire process involves energy in motion. Light, sound, and even physical objects are all forms of energy. Our bodies, clothes, tables, chairs, and phones, when viewed at a microscopic level, are made of tiny particles constantly vibrating with energy. In this way, even solid matter is energy. This concept is explained in quantum physics and is also what people refer to when they talk about vibrations or frequency. In short, everything we see, hear, touch, and feel is made of energy. The law of attraction is based on this principle. Energy of a certain frequency attracts similar energy. Whatever energy you emit, you draw similar energy into your reality. Your inner state is reflected in the outer world. That's the core idea of the law of attraction. Figures like Abraham and Bashar often emphasize this. They say, feel good, or when you're in a good feeling state of mind, you attract a positive reality. Bashar expresses it as, follow your excitement. When you choose actions that excite and uplift you, your reality begins to shift, often in powerful and unexpected ways. There are many interpretations of the law of attraction, but they all boil down to the same principle. Like attracts like. In business, for example, people on the same wavelength tend to connect naturally. This applies to relationships, information, and opportunities. It all functions through energetic alignment. Some people operate from a higher state of awareness, while others remain in lower, more negative states. If you're stuck in a low level of consciousness, it's only natural to attract negative experiences. Unpleasant people and situations tend to repeat themselves. That's simply how the system works. If you operate from a higher level of awareness, positive and uplifting experiences will naturally begin to appear in your life. You've likely had moments when everything just seems to fall into place, unexpected meetings, perfect timing, useful insights, and you think, lately, things have been going really well. That's what I call synchronicity. It might seem like coincidence, but there's usually a deeper reason. Encounters, timing, and insights align in a meaningful way when you're in sync with yourself. When you follow what truly excites you, your outer world starts to reflect that inner alignment. No matter whose teachings you follow, whether it's Abraham, Bashar, or someone else, the core message is always the same. Take care of yourself. Do what truly lights you up. That's it. Keep your mind in a good place. Stay open. Nourish yourself from within. Don't worry about what others think. Take action on what your heart genuinely wants. Just doing that can change your life. If you focus on two things, feeling good and following your excitement, you already understand the essence of the law of attraction. Let yourself finally do the things you've been putting off just because you fear judgment. That's the non-negotiable foundation of this practice. It's incredibly simple, but surprisingly, many people don't do it. How about you? Are you being truly kind to yourself? Are you really doing what you want to do? If those questions made you pause or feel uneasy, you're not alone. That's exactly why we need to ask, how can I genuinely take care of myself? How can I stop worrying about others' opinions and start living the life I truly want? To answer those questions, we need to go deeper, and that's where the subconscious mind comes in. Let's take a closer look at what I call the 3 core traits of the subconscious mind. It's often said that our awareness has 2 layers, the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is like the tip of an iceberg, small and visible above the surface. It's the part of your mind you can control, the one that says, I'm thinking this right now. This is what we use in daily life. But here's the surprising part. The conscious mind accounts for less than 5% of our mental activity. The remaining 95%? That's your subconscious. It operates silently in the background, beyond your direct control. However, if you understand how it works, you can harness its incredible power. It can help make your goals and dreams a reality, sometimes in ways that feel effortless. That's why understanding the subconscious is so important. Without this knowledge, it's hard to change deeply rooted patterns. But once you understand it, change becomes much easier. The subconscious can't distinguish between you and someone else. For example, if you see someone succeed and think, I hope they fail, your subconscious doesn't know who they are. It simply registers the message as is. As a result, your subconscious may begin attracting failure into your life, because that's the energy you've projected. Even negative thoughts aimed at others can come back to affect you. That's why it's important to be mindful. Don't envy someone else's happiness or wish misfortune on others. Even if such thoughts arise unconsciously, don't let them take root. Instead, choose kindness. Be generous in how you think about others. When you radiate goodwill, your subconscious supports you more effectively. Another key trait is that the subconscious doesn't understand negative wording. It also doesn't distinguish between imagination and reality. For example, if you often think, I don't want to struggle with money, the subconscious skips the don't and hears, struggle with money. So even though your intention is to avoid hardship, you may be reinforcing it unconsciously. The more you focus on what you don't want, the more you attract exactly that. Frustrating, isn't it? The more you focus on what you don't want, the more your subconscious interprets it as a request. Understood, that's what you're asking for. Since your attention is fixed on that idea, it gains power and begins to show up more in your life. That's why it's crucial to shift your focus, not toward what you want to avoid, but toward what you actually desire. The problem is, most people naturally focus on what they don't want. And that's understandable. Humans are wired that way. Our ancestors had to survive in dangerous environments, constantly alert to threats like cliffs or wild animals. Those who expected the worst were more likely to survive. That survival mindset has been passed down through generations. Even today, we tend to think negatively first, often without realizing it. But in the modern world, this instinct can work against us. If you keep focusing on what you fear or dislike, you might unintentionally create that reality. So, what can you do? The key is to clearly define the future you do want. Say it to yourself, this is the future I'm moving toward. Make that intention clear and commit to it. Just doing this helps redirect your focus in a more positive direction. As you do, those old negative thoughts will begin to lose their grip. It's important to remember, the subconscious doesn't process negatives well. When you catch yourself thinking about what you don't want, don't stress. Just gently redirect your attention to what you do want. Building this habit of thought is the first step in changing your reality. Another important trait of the subconscious mind is that it has no concept of time. To it, only the present moment exists. It responds to what you're feeling right now and uses that emotional state to shape your experience. If you're always thinking, I hope I'll be happy someday, you'll keep creating a future where happiness is always just out of reach. Instead, make a decision. I am becoming this. My future is already unfolding. Say it with clarity and conviction. At the same time, feel gratitude, both for who you are now and for what you already have. Visualize your desired future with intention, while appreciating your present reality. This balance of vision and gratitude is what helps align your subconscious with the life you want to create. Holding a vision of your future while being grateful for the present is incredibly powerful. If you keep thinking in terms of someday, that's where you'll remain, stuck in the future instead of creating it. That's why it's important to decide and start feeling appreciation now. We've now covered the 3 key traits of the subconscious mind. Simply put, align your subconscious with your desires and live in a way that feels good to you. Many of our thoughts are automatic and unspoken. People often judge without realizing it or focus on what they don't want. That's why awareness is essential. Catch your thoughts in the moment. Ask yourself, what was I just thinking? This gentle habit of observing your inner world, not with judgment, but with awareness, is the foundation for creating your reality through the power of your subconscious. So, how do you begin to align and clear your subconscious? The key lies in your negative emotions. Feelings like anger or anxiety aren't problems to fix, they're signals. When they arise, bring your awareness to them. Anger, for instance, often reveals something within you that hasn't been healed or accepted. The first step is simply to notice it. Behind anger are often judgments like, "This isn't how it should be. This behavior is wrong. That attitude is unacceptable." Anger highlights the rigid expectations we've placed on others or the world. But it also gives us a chance to look inward and ask, what values am I using to make this judgment? What belief or assumption am I holding? Ask yourself, why am I feeling angry? What kind of thinking is behind it? Little by little, you'll trace these emotions back to the unconscious beliefs beneath them. Using negative emotions as a doorway, you begin to uncover and release what's been quietly shaping your inner world. As you do, your subconscious becomes clearer. Your vision for the future, what you truly want, can begin to take shape and become your reality. That's how manifestation through the subconscious works. What you feel at a subconscious level tends to show up in your outer world. So it's essential to recognize those feelings, even the hidden ones, and gently shift them. This emotional clarity is the foundation of both the law of attraction and subconscious work. And as we've explored, the core principles they share are what matter most. Now, let me bring everything together and walk you through the key takeaways, the points I truly hope you'll remember. The law of attraction is simple. When you feel good, good things tend to happen. You attract experiences that reflect your inner state. In other words, like attracts like. Your personal energy, your vibration or frequency draws in people, situations, and outcomes that match it. Whatever you feel inside tends to show up in the world around you. That's the essence of the law of attraction. The subconscious mind works in a similar way. There's a popular example often called the toast story, which also ties into Murphy's Law. Imagine this. You're buttering toast in the morning, and it slips from your hand. In that instant, you think, please don't land butter side down. But here's the twist. Your subconscious doesn't recognize negative phrasing. It hears land butter side down and follows through. Ironically, the stronger your desire for it not to happen, the more likely it is to happen. There's even a joke that the toast is more likely to fall butter side down if your carpet is expensive. Why? Because the stronger your emotional reaction, please not here, the more energy you give to the unwanted outcome. The subconscious responds not to not or don't, but to the core idea, happen. The more emotionally charged your fear or worry, the more you reinforce that outcome. Though humorous, this story illustrates a key truth. Both the law of attraction and the subconscious mind respond to your inner focus and emotional energy. That's why their overlap is so powerful. And the shared principle can be summed up in one simple phrase. The heart comes first, reality follows. Your internal state sets the tone. When you feel good, you align with outcomes that reflect that feeling. Whether through the law of attraction or the subconscious mind, your reality begins from within. Your thoughts and energy come first. From there, your reality begins to take shape. However, in everyday life, we often reverse this order. We say things like, I'm in a good mood because something good happened. But the law of attraction and the subconscious mind suggest the opposite. I'm in a good mood, so something good is coming. The heart comes first. This principle, that your inner state leads and your outer reality follows, is the foundation of both the law of attraction and subconscious work. Without understanding this, it's difficult to use either concept effectively. When people focus only on external circumstances, asking, "Why isn't it working?" or "Why does this always happen to me?" they often ignore their internal state. As a result, things often don't go smoothly. To shift this, start by aligning your inner world. Your internal state is the origin of everything. Living with this awareness, prioritizing your inner state, is what truly creates change. Clear your mind, release limiting beliefs, and maintain a positive state. When you do, a better reality naturally begins to unfold. This is the correct order. Inner state first, reality second. But to truly live this truth, one essential feeling is needed: a sense of connection. Without it, it can be difficult to fully embrace the idea that your heart leads and your reality follows. When you live with the awareness that we are all connected, you'll start noticing synchronicities, those meaningful coincidences that feel too perfect to be random. These moments often come through other people, which is why feeling connected is so powerful. Beyond the conscious and subconscious mind lies a deeper layer, the superconscious, the part of us that connects all beings. At this level, we are not separate. This is often called oneness, the understanding that we are all part of a greater whole. When you truly feel this connection, the boundary between you and others begins to fade. You realize that if there's something you're not skilled at, someone else will naturally support you. If you focus on what you love, everything else falls into place. People who embody this belief tend to experience synchronicity regularly. They live with trust, connection, and the awareness that we are all part of something greater. They carry a quiet trust that whatever they can't handle themselves, someone else will. That kind of trust in the flow of life is deeply powerful. What about you? Do you move through life feeling connected to the people around you? Or do you often feel alone, thinking, "I'm completely on my own"? Connection isn't real. That mindset makes a huge difference. Being connected can start with a simple thought. Maybe this person crossed my path for a reason. When you see things this way, your interactions take on meaning. They stop feeling random and start to feel sacred, like moments that truly matter. You may not see the connection with your eyes, but the feeling is real. And when you truly embrace the idea of shared energy and connection, when that belief settles into your heart, synchronicities begin to unfold in surprising ways. Your life starts to flow effortlessly in the right direction. It can feel like one meaningful event after another, almost like miracles unfolding before you. We've explored one of the most powerful principles behind the laws of the universe, the belief that you are connected to others. So here's the next question. How do you bring that feeling into your daily life? How do you plant that sense of oneness so deeply that it becomes a natural part of how you live? Start by imagining yourself after your dreams have already come true. Picture your future self, maybe years from now, living the life you've always wanted. Visualize it clearly. Everything I wished for has come true, and I feel genuinely happy. Maybe it's the home you've always dreamed of. Maybe it's doing work that feels truly meaningful. Maybe it's being surrounded by people who love and understand you. Picture it vividly and, most importantly, feel what that version of you would feel. Joy, gratitude, that deep happiness that makes you want to smile or hug someone. Sit in that feeling. Let it soak in. That alone can begin to shift your energy. Even imagining it starts to change your frequency. If that feels hard to do, here's a simple tip. Use a Google image search. Look up pictures of the kind of home you want, places you'd love to visit, or the workspace you dream of. Seeing those images can help you emotionally connect to your vision. You might also want to create a vision board, a collection of images and words that represent your goals and ideal life. Having it in your space helps you stay focused and makes your dreams feel more real and reachable. Some people find that listening to music or background sounds helps them get into the right mindset for visualization. So experiment and discover what helps you best imagine the life you want. Most importantly, allow yourself to fully feel the emotions that come with your vision. When your imagination becomes clear and emotionally vivid, your energy naturally begins to rise. And when you're radiating that elevated energy, that's when things start shifting behind the scenes. In those moments, when you're truly feeling it, the path to your future is already beginning to unfold. We're all connected, like invisible threads linking us beneath the surface. When you send out energy through your thoughts, energy that aligns with your ideal future, it starts shaping reality. That energy is already in motion, pulling you toward what you're creating. Have you ever suddenly thought of someone, and then they contacted you shortly after, or dreamed about someone only to hear from them the next day? These moments feel mysterious, but there's a reason. We're connected in ways we can't always see. Even if invisible, our thoughts and energy constantly interact with others. Quantum physics offers a concept called entanglement, where particles remain connected across distances, influencing each other instantly. This suggests we're not truly separate. We affect and resonate with one another, often without knowing it. That's why, when you vividly imagine your dreams and feel the emotions as if they're real, unexpected synchronicities can occur. You might meet the right person at just the right time. Bit by bit, things begin to align, and you move closer to the future you envisioned. The best times for visualization are right after waking and just before sleep, when your subconscious is most open. Use these quiet moments to picture your ideal future. It's often more powerful than expected. Still, how you live the rest of your day matters too. Life brings interactions, challenges, and surprises. Some days feel light and energized. Others may bring stress or fatigue for no clear reason. At times you're patient and kind. At others, frustration can arise unexpectedly. And that's okay. It's completely natural for your energy to fluctuate from day to day. What matters is how you respond when you feel low. Allow yourself to feel what you need to, but try not to stay in that space too long. Gently guide yourself back to a more balanced, uplifted state whenever you can. One helpful reference point is the energy level of 200, which represents the emotional state of courage on a widely used scale of consciousness. Courage is essential if you want to shift your reality. It's what allows you to try new things, step into the unknown, and face fears, even when you're uncertain. Each time you do, you're accessing the energy that moves you forward. Aim to keep your average energy level at or above 200. When you do, life begins to open up. You become more receptive to new opportunities, and synchronicities, those meaningful, unexpected moments, start to appear more frequently. The world begins to align with the future you've been imagining. Here's one simple way to begin. Visualize your ideal future in vivid detail. Write it down or create a vision board with inspiring images. Use music or sounds that lift your mood. Most importantly, feel the emotions you would experience if your dreams had already come true. That emotional state is what sets change in motion. Try making this a daily habit, once in the morning and once before bed. Throughout the day, do your best to stay centered and energized. When you maintain this courageous state, you're more willing to take action, grow, and connect with others. Remember, real change starts from within. Be kind to yourself. Take care of your emotional well-being. Do what helps you feel balanced and strong. When you combine that grounded energy with a bit of courage to reach out to others, amazing things start to happen. Unexpected events, meaningful conversations, new doors opening. That's how your reality begins to shift in ways you never imagined. It's normal to feel nervous when doing something new or stepping outside your comfort zone. But as long as you're being gentle with yourself and staying true to what matters most, you'll be okay. People who consistently keep their energy around 200 or higher naturally attract others on a similar wavelength. That's why it's so important to stay open, keep connecting, and welcome those small but powerful moments of synchronicity. One final thought. The subconscious mind plays a powerful role in all of this. I believe that raising the overall level of love and awareness in the world, especially for future generations, is one of the most important things we can do. As technology evolves at an unprecedented pace, Staying grounded in compassion, courage, and conscious energy becomes more vital than ever. When it comes to love, compassion, connection, empathy, we haven't made nearly the same progress as we have with technology. This growing gap between rapidly advancing technology and slowly evolving love could be dangerous. One of my favorite books, The Little Alien, touches on this. It describes civilizations across the universe, many of which focused only on technology. Those that neglected love ended up destroying themselves. To me, that doesn't feel like science fiction. It feels close to our current reality. I have children I care about deeply. When I think about the world they'll inherit and the future their children may face, I feel a deep responsibility to pass on more than just knowledge or tools. We must also pass on love. It feels like we're at a turning point. That's why I continue to share messages like this. Even if some people find topics like the spiritual world or the subconscious hard to believe, I believe they're worth discussing. So, how do we raise the level of love? It's something I've explored for many years, through thought, practice, and observation in daily life. Here's what I've come to believe. It all begins with a simple feeling. We're all on the same team. This idea shows up in many traditions. In the law of attraction, it's called oneness. In subconscious work, it's the superconscious. In Adlerian psychology, it's the sense of community. At the core, they all express the same truth. There are no real barriers between us. Deep down, we are all connected. Everything meaningful flows from that connection. When we live with that sense of connection, I believe humanity can move in a better direction. You begin to notice more synchronicities, the right people, perfect timing, unexpected insights. It's as if life starts gently guiding you toward your path. This is how we shape our reality, bit by bit, through synchronicity. Once you become aware of this flow, things often shift naturally. As your sense of connection grows, love begins to appear more effortlessly. You treat others with more warmth and care. You give, not out of obligation, but because it feels right. That kind of giving inspires others, and the ripple spreads. Love moves outward, quietly touching more lives. That's why I share this message. It would be a shame to go through life without realizing this power exists. Even if just one more person awakens to it, it can make a difference. So, please, hold on to this feeling. We truly are all connected. You don't have to do anything special. Just carry that thought with you in your everyday life. When you do, synchronicities will start to appear, often more quickly and smoothly than you expect. You might even wonder, can life really change this easily? And the answer is yes. It truly can. Start by living each day with the awareness that you and everyone else are connected. That feeling is the foundation for understanding how the law of attraction works, and how powerful the subconscious mind really is. Over the years, I've shared many thoughts on the subconscious and manifestation. But in the end, I've realized the clearest truth is this: we're all connected. And through that connection, synchronicity happens. I hope our paths cross again someday. Thank you so much for spending this time with me.